Some of the old outside faucets that I've taken out. There's different kinds. This one I think is a 12 inch long. The washer's way down in the back there, so if it's in a heated area it can't freeze, obviously. Frost free with a vacuum breaker. This one's a Mansfield. Another 12 inch. They got 12, 10, 8 and 6. I usually use 8s. It's a vacuum breaker. There's a little washer in there. What happens is when you turn it on, the washer will push up and stop it. But if it ever tries to suck air in through here, it'll pull air in through the vacuum breaker. Frost free with a vacuum breaker. That's a Mansfield. It's a Wolford. I'm not a big fan of these. You can see this one split. Whenever you put these in the winter time, you have to take the hose off, because what happens is this is pitched up like this, so when you shut it off, the washer's inside the heated area. The water drains out, so there's no way it can freeze. But if you leave the hose on it, you know, it's looped up, there's water that stays in here, and that's what freezes. Common problem with these things. A lot of times people in the winter time don't take the hoses off them, and guaranteed they'll split, they'll freeze. Now they won't notice the leak until they turn it on in the next summer. They turn it on, the water's way back here, it comes in and squirts out. So Wolford. There's a Watts. This is the kind I use. I put a lot of these in. I like these Watts. These are good. A vacuum breaker again. There's a little washer on the top. That cover pops right off. That's a 12 inch. I usually use 8 inch. So you can see how this one froze and how it's puffy there in the back. Somebody left the hose on it. Common problem. Another Mansfield. A 12 inch. This one here is an 8 inch, I believe. This is the old style. They're not frost free because the water's right at the edge of the house there. Actually, the water's, there's a washer right here on the inside. These are decent. Got another Watts here. There's some of the stuff I got in here. I got a whole bunch more. I got tons of shit in here, copper and stuff. But I figured I'd do a little video on them. Now what I do when I solder them up is I just open the valve and I put a piece of copper right in there, clean it with a wire brush, and I solder it. Now you can put a female adapter on it if you want, but I never do. I never take them apart. I just open them up and I'll solder. You know, clean it, flux it and solder it right inside. The copper will go right inside. That's how I do it. There's a handle for a Mansfield. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take these old handles off if they're good, and I'll save them in case somebody's got a cracked handle or something. I'll be able to reuse the parts. Here's a Mansfield at my house. So this thing is pitched down a little bit. You don't want to put them in like this. You want to put them either level or this way a little bit. So when you shut off the valve, the water drains out. And in the winter time, when it starts getting cold off, you have to take the hose off or they'll freeze inside. They'll split, like I told you. Very important to take the hose off. I changed so many of these. People forget to take the hose off when it starts getting chilly out in the fall and stuff, and they split. Anyways, just some of my valves I got in here. This is some that I carry in the truck. It's a 1/2 inch solder one, directly, old style. You can screw a vacuum breaker on the end there if you had to, but these usually hold up pretty good. you'd have a stop and waste inside the house on something like this. You know, you'd have this valve you shut off, and you open this bleeder to drain the water out, and just open this. As long as you don't have water continuously, when it gets cold out, you're alright. These are nice. I do install some of these. People want them. This one here is 3/4 IPS. Like a 1/2 inch IPS and 3/4. Sometimes you come across an old one, that one screw, but I stock them both in the truck. And I'll show you, what I put in frost-free wise. I usually carry at least a couple of them 2 or 3 of them in the truck. I'll show you what I got. This is the one that's stuck in the truck, the 8-inch. Frost-free. Comes with a little plastic gasket that goes on the house. Obviously, like I said, you want to tip them up a little bit. You shut them off, they drain out. And we don't want to have them going this way. When you shut them off, there's water that stays in there. You want to have them tipped like this. That's exaggerating, but so when you shut it off, the water's way inside here, inside the house. It can't freeze. There's no way it can freeze. It's frost free if you take the hose off. And then the vacuum breaker, anti-siphon there, that pops off. See if I can pop that off, show you what it's like. Alright, took the cap off. Cap just pops off. And there's just a regular washer in there. You can unscrew that. And you could put a regular washer in there if you want. It's got to be a soft one though. See if I can show you. There it goes. There it is right there. That's all it is, a little check valve. What happens is when you turn the water on, that thing just pushes up against there. And it's just a washer. You can pop that off and put a regular washer on there. It's not a big deal. It has to be a soft, wimpy, soft washer. A hard washer won't work. It'll leak. That's all it is. Now you can buy a kit, a vacuum kit for these, and I just use regular washers in here a lot of the times. Turn the water on, that thing will pop up and stop it. And if there's ever a back siphonage, that thing will drop down and suck air in through here. It won't pull the contaminated water into the house. That's what it's for. Anti-siphon. That's it.